Alright, welcome to something not so verdict related. So today, as you can see, we're going to be working with velocity, and it's not going to be a tutorial today, unless you take it as one, I suppose. This is going to be one of those 10-minute challenges, and if you aren't aware of what those are, if you've not seen any of the YouTube videos, basically it's something where someone who's talented with art, or someone who codes, or someone who designs things, does that in 10 minutes, and sometimes they go down to 1 minute, but I'm not going to be doing that because I don't think I'll produce much of anything in a minute, especially not at my level. So whatever the case, it's kind of like a social thing, and I don't get that many views, so like you might be, well, why are you even doing it? The hope is not really to get views. It's just a nice exercise, and recording it kind of legitimizes it, I suppose, so I figured why not? And it only takes 10 minutes, of course. I have done a little bit of prep, and I'll go through and explain that in just a second here before we get started. But just so you know, what people usually use is something like Unity or Unreal, and those are physics engines, so they already have their event loops and everything built in. What you're seeing here is exactly the same stuff. So I can explain this pretty simply. This main file here just sets up the preface, I guess you could say. This way, I mean, obviously it's not that much text, so in my opinion, this file is the least cheaty of any of them. But still, just to explain, this kind of prefaces everything else and sets it up so that when I join, I don't join into a black screen, right? I'd prefer to do most of this 10 minutes as making a game rather than bug fixing in a kind of boring way. The game manager is exactly what I mentioned earlier, the event loop that Unity and Unreal have built into them. So this is the equivalent in Velocity, or rather it's my equivalent, the one I've made. And it's sort of like the template I use whenever I make a new game. Same thing here over in Packages. Packages is my own coded, I guess, package of math functions and other stuff like that. This is not really something I'm going to use that much. I think the only thing I might use is lerp, and if you aren't aware of what a lerp is, you can look that up, I'm sure. But this is just math functions I've coded on my own time for my own personal use, and etc., etc. The only other important file here is macros, and this is another one of the things that I just slap into a game that I'm making if I decide to make like a little test project or something. And this is as simple as it sounds. It's literally macros. So when you press D, it ends a move, or rather when you press D, it starts a move and then ends it when you release it, etc., etc. For this particular game, we aren't going to be using up and down keys, although I will say something about that later and we can take a look. However, other than that, you don't need to worry about it. All this stuff is very basic and it would just be kind of time consuming. So I figured it would be okay because game engines like Unity, where people typically do this kind of thing, have that built in. So without further ado, I think it's about time we get started. It's going to be a little complicated at first, but again, this isn't a tutorial, or it's not meant to be one. It's just going to be a quick rundown, quick run through as fast as I can with everything, and obviously it'll all be very jumbled and hard to understand. But actually, before I get started, there's also some icons, because I'm not a spriter. All this stuff is open art, open source, etc. I am not someone who can draw very well, and I'm not someone who can draw very well in 10 minutes, especially on top of coding. So all this stuff is pre-made, just to get that out there. Whatever the case, I think I'll open this real quick, and we can go ahead and remove this. Okay, so it's a blank map. Cool, cool, cool. We'll build one last time, and then we'll get started as soon as I start this timer. So 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so first thing we want to do is make a player. So we're going to grab the icons atlas and then the icon name of player. We also want to attach a manager rate variable to this. So I'm going to put this at 1. Typically you'd want 2, but it's whatever. We're going to put gravity strength variable as well as a isFalling variable. This is going to start at true. And we want to record this event function for relocation as well. So the way we're going to do this is, and I think I should put this as null, we're going to check to see whenever it moves, or rather whenever it's relocated, if it's currently crossed with something that's dense, and if this cross object is dense, or rather if it's higher than the mob's density, which it is higher than or equal to, then we say hasDense is equal to cross, and we break out of the loop. And down here we say if that thing exists and it is not null, we set the position to the previous x position, and then the y position minus this mob's height. That'll put it right on top of whatever it's collided with. So next we're just going to add this as an event and this function down here will use this manager rate up here, so that's cool. It's all well and good. Need to be down here, and then we'll make our manager execute function, which is my custom-made thing. We'll see if it's falling currently. If it is, we'll gradually lerp, or very quickly lerp rather, the gravity strength to a higher degree. So if you are in the air, it'll pull you towards the ground pretty quickly. And then lastly, if we go over to macros here, you can see this space down thing here. That's a command, or what you call a command in Velocity. And we're going to activate that here, or rather reference that here, and say this mob gravity strength. We'll just subtract it by some large amount, or rather set it to a low amount. So that's cool, that's all well and good. We're going to keep going here. We're going to make some new tiles. This is going to be the background. We'll use, actually let's set this to use, or have all tiles use that atlas name. And then for this specifically, I think it's called Sky, not Spy, BG. And for one last thing, we'll make a movable, which is just something that can move. It's sort of like an object, basically. And then we're going to say obstacle, and we want to set this to the universal atlas name, and make this icon name equal to platform. And we're going to make 2 or 3 variants, left, middle, and right. These are all going to have the same dimensions, so we can set that up here. They're all going to be 32 wide and 32 high, and the density will be, of course, 1. And then we'll set the icon states to their respective, well, icon states. That was a typo. It cost me like half the entire time. This will be right. Okay, so we can build this real quick, and then we can quote-unquote build our map, I suppose you could say. As you can see, it's empty here, and we'll just drag this across. Don't mind the top right, it is a little buggy right now. And we'll put down our obstacles. We'll say like over here somewhere, because we're going to spawn on the left side. Might as well make a platform, and that's fine for right now. We should be able to just join, or rather load up and join. Okay, so we are stuck in the air right now. Why would that be? I'm trying to think. Is it not adding us to the event? Oh, this is costing me precious time. Oh, I know why. Or I think I know why, actually. Actually, oh no, I don't. Oh shit. It's intense. Oh yeah, that's why, okay. So, the reason it's not doing that is because I forgot to include this here. So it wasn't actually setting the Y position to anything. We were just messing around with the gravity strength that was never changing, which is obviously an issue because, and I need map up here as well, because if we never change the actual position, nothing ever happens. So we're going to start, we're going to fall, here we go, and we collide, and because we're colliding in this way up here with this this unrelocated function, it's not really collision, it's just putting us on top of this object, so that's cool. And we can jump midair. So what we might want to do is check to see if if we're currently falling. So this mob, or we should say if this is falling. So this way we can have it so that we're not able to double jump. But you can probably change that later. Oh, I'm sorry. Very strange, actually. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that too much. It's a small bug, I'm pretty sure, and it's probably just a Boolean error, but I don't have time to worry about that, time to fiddle with it. First, we got to worry about other stuff, like coins. So coins, the way I'm going to handle this is, I think that I want this to be a game where stuff is raining from the sky, so we'll go ahead and figure out what the name of the coin icon is. And we'll set the width to 32 and the height to 32, and we'll say on new, we need to put this, give this a manager rate. We'll put this to 2 because it doesn't, actually, let's make it smooth because this is a video and not a true test. We'll say manager add event this, so this is added. We make a function called manager execute, and then we say if this.ypos is, how tall is the map? We'll just make it static for right now because it doesn't matter too much. It's 25 high, so 25 times 32. So as long as it is below that, and yeah, this is fine. As long as it's below that, we'll say this.ypos plus equals 5, I guess, or let's do this.setPos, this pause this dot y pause plus 5 map. Okay, so now we should see these fall. However, we do need excuse me, we do need them to actually spawn. So what we should do is go in here and say for var I equals 0, I under, let's say 10. We'll just spawn 10 to begin, and then we'll make an object later that spawns them continually. Var new coin equals new deob, and it's a movable coin. We'll say new coin dot set pause math dot rend 0 to 100 by 32, and then we'll say 0 for all of the y positions and set it to the map, the main map. And this is probably too low to see, so we'll say this, and we should go back and make sure that they delete themselves if they go off the screen. What we should do is actually say else this dot set. Actually, we can probably just copy from this. This way we don't have to delete and recreate them all the time. So that saves us a bunch of performance, and we get to see them scroll back up. Hopefully. It should be how it works. Those are huge. I need to reduce the size there, I think. And we should see them pop back up. Yep, there we go. So I could do some like Poisson disk sampling crap with spacing them apart, but we don't have time for that. It's crazy. We got 2 minutes. So the one other thing we have is that we have to do is reduce this size because it's massive. We'll say 50 scale nearest is fine, blah, blah, blah. Set that. These coins will be then 50. We want the layer. We'll just quickly do this because I don't have time. Say the layer is that because we want it to appear above. We'll say a bomb. Icon name is equal to bomb, I think, right? 16-bit. Where did I get this? 16-bit bomb1, I think. Yep. Okay. So 16-bit bomb1 width equals 32, height equals 32, layer is also going to be equal to 1. Same deal, same exact thing. We're just going to create a copy of this, and on start we'll create a smaller number of bombs, I suppose. And we have 1 minute, so we'll say like 5 bombs, and then we're going to have this so that it just deletes the player. We can't go too complicated with this. We'll have it delete the player if we need to set this to a higher thing, but whatever, that's too much right now. On crossed pdeob if pdeob dot type mob dot player del deob. I'm sorry for not talking. I'm a little pressured right now because I want to make sure this works. Let's see. Okay, cool. So that works. We could put up a message that says you're defeated or something, but for right now, I'll just say we'll just actually let's say pdeob set this. So set to like 32 by 32 or something, so you fall back onto the map. We'll use that as like an indicator of defeat, and then if we go in here, we'll say on cross pdeob dot type equals mob dot player pdeob dot. We'll say I can't really think of anything right now that would be beneficial, but I guess we can just set them back to show that it's happening again. It's a little disappointing, but I don't have any assets set up for showing like a +1 or something, and we have 6 seconds, so we can go ahead and grab these coins. And actually, okay, so that's done. That's done. All right, calm down. So that was probably the best I could do in that time frame. I don't think I could optimize that very much, but what you could do is have this delete the display object. So you could have this just delete itself whenever it touches you. That way you can kind of show the coins being collected, the bombs being collected. I could go, there you go, and they won't keep looping as well. That's kind of simple, but like I said, I didn't have an asset prepared for whatever you want to do with showing success or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of complicated, but I think that was probably, oh, here comes another. I think that's probably the best we're going to be doing for right now. In terms of like videos, I don't think I could make a better rendition just because we got so much done in such a short period of time. But in the future, I might do a, oh, there goes another. I might do another version of this where we do like a 20-minute or 25-minute one, and I prepare some interface elements because we could definitely put like a you win or you lose across the screen. I think even now you could do that, but it's a little difficult to do. Right now, the easiest way to do that would be like putting something crappy in here like world.log you win, or you could put down here you lose, and that's probably the best you could do in the past, like the last 10 seconds of the thing, and we could check the log. I don't even know if you can see the log. I don't think you can, but take my word for it that it works. You get the idea. It's a very simple game, not too crazy. It is what it is, but I hope you guys appreciate it, and if you want to see more stuff like this, feel free to let me know. I might try making like maybe systems or something in a short period of time, because having a time limit is very fun in my opinion. So again, feel free to let me know. I'm pretty into this kind of stuff, so if you enjoyed it, leave a like, or don't. Just comment. Don't comment. Who cares? I'll see you tomorrow for the showcase. This is just a little bit of a prep after I did a change log and wanted a rest, I guess, if you can call this a rest. Whatever the case, I hope you have a good day, and again, hope you look forward to the showcase tomorrow.